So just on inflation, we know it's moderating in the short to medium term, and we'd likely fall within the target band in Q3, Q4 this year. At the same time, global inflation, like US inflation, has fallen from 8 down to about 5%. So we're seeing a general moderation, but our view is that we're not going back to the old targets. So in South Africa, we're not going back to 4.5%. In the US, we're not going back to 2%, and we're likely to remain sticky above those type of levels. And that's why, as Fazana mentioned, we're liking the inflation-linked bonds. So in terms of the rand, we have seen quite a significant depreciation. Even this year, the rand's underperformed the majority of emerging markets and commodity countries. And it does feel like global sentiment has shifted take quite a negative stance on South Africa. So if you look at the FT and Bloomberg, I think the lack of growth, the lack of the ability to supply electricity, if you look at the last decade, we've talked about this 1% economic growth, but our population has grown by more than 1%. So our GDP per capita, which is actually the true measure of where you are as a country, is gone backwards. We minus 5% over the last decade. So I think there's a reflection that unless something changes, South Africa is continuing to move backwards. And while the rand is still overstretched, if our fundamentals don't readjust, then unfortunately the currency will have to continue to compensate for those poor fundamentals and continue to see a deteriorating trend.